38th Platform and Treasury Council meeting. So today we'll cover governance initiatives, platform developments, and upcoming proposals. I've posted the agenda in the chat. So what are the reasons for the bi-weekly meetings? It's to keep the community informed, give proposers direct access to the council, and maintain transparent communication across our global ecosystem. Hopefully, you know what we're building by now, but we'll go through it again. We are creating the Internet of Money. So 7 billion mobile users can send data instantly, but they can't truly own or move money. So the Telcoin Association is changing that. We're building the Telcoin network and TEL as the blockchain standard for global telecommunications. Telecom operators already run the internet. With the Telcoin network, they'll also secure the blockchain, bringing accessible digital finance to every mobile subscriber worldwide. Through this, the platform architecture is three integrated layers. The Telcoin network, which is an EVM-compatible layer 1 blockchain, which is validated exclusively by the GSMA mobile network operators. This creates a new revenue stream for the telecoms. Telex, a liquidity layer for user-owned self-custodial exchanges. And TAN, which is mobile apps that connect users to the blockchain services and each other. So through this, there are 4 minor groups and a shared governance. So validators, which are the GSMA MNOs, liquidity miners, developers, and stakers. They all participate equally. Each group earns the fees and TEL rewards for their contributions. This alignment turns participants into owners and defenders of the network. So from this, there is the TEL token and governance. TEL is essentially the gas token, a staking asset, the governance token. The Telcoin Association is a Swiss verein governed by 5 elected councils. And our Platform and Treasury Council oversees sustainable platform development and responsible token economics. So why does this matter? Every decision we make brings us closer to uniting telecom operators and billions of users around a shared blockchain infrastructure. This is where money moves as easily as data on any mobile phone. So as your elected representatives, we are committed to careful proposal review, transparency, and faithful execution of governance framework. With that, let's move on to today's agenda. So we will kick off with a quick recap of the last meeting. So on the 37th Platform Treasury Council meeting, we received updates on the Telcoin network from Grant, covering the latest technical validator onboarding. We also had Blue Lights share progress on Web Unification project, which highlighted the advancements in integrating into our core platform. And finally, AJ, or Ari as people know him, presented updates on the Telcoin Explorer and broader community engagement initiatives. This includes upcoming features and engagement plans. So these updates continue to show strong momentum across the ecosystem. With that, we'll go straight into the Telcoin network updates. So Grant, would you like to provide the latest network update, including any progress in development, protocol readiness, security, testnet, anything? What have you got? Give us the goodies.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So our biggest focus right now has been tackling security issues and while also receiving feedback from our partners to build out tools that will help DApp developers and infrastructure providers kind of build on the network. So with that kind of focus on network infrastructure, we've expanded the RPC endpoints that kind of broadens the public access to network data. And that we've also been working towards a node onboarding process. And with that, we've improved development tooling and incorporated a lot of direct feedback from node operators to make sure that the experience is more reliable. We've also discovered kind of where those two intersect. We're going through the process of really hardening our release schedule so that we have official releases from Telcoin Association that are signed with security signatures, cryptographic signatures so that anyone who's planning to run a node can verify that this binary and that this code has been signed off by one of the maintainers on the team. So as more nodes are coming online, we've encountered and resolved several network issues, and that's affected liveness. Importantly, it didn't impact consistency, right? And so the consistency, if you're requesting nodes, are you going to get invalid data? That would be a really big deal, especially if you're imagining account balances or something. But the core properties of the network have been intact, and that's kind of the continuing real world stress testing that's really only happening at scale. So in fact, one of the reasons that this particular hiccups in the networking side have occurred is because we've never had so many nodes on the network. So that's been really good feedback and really good process to kind of find and expand on the scalability of the network as we move forward to mainnet. Security hardening wise, we've pretty much targeted the network and the execution layers as our two biggest areas of critical focus. And we've made significant progress with that. I think we're quickly running out of ideas and security scans to run. It would bring us to the next step of third-party audits with our security partners. So yeah, other than that, I'm excited to share that we've been working with some dApp developers and infrastructure providers to start building on the testnet and stuff. So we're starting to see that broader ecosystem engagement. And a lot of that too is validated and put to the test through the Telpats community. So really appreciate all their continued engagement as well. So yeah, with that, we'll invite anybody to stick around. Happy to answer questions and get into some more details at the end of the call.
Amazing. So yeah, some very exciting stuff there. Perfect. So we'll move straight on. So the next is progress on Web Unification project, which is Blue Lights. Nick, are you available to hop up?
I am. Thanks, Adam.
Amazing.
Yeah, so this week's been a good week. We're progressing again with the Web Unification UX design. We've been going through so many elements of it, but we've been going through what kind of pages we want to launch with for the build-out phase. We've also been fine-tuning content. We're not quite ready to, the content's not quite ready yet, so I would love to give you guys a demo of the of what we got, but because we've got incorrect kind of placeholder content in the designs at the moment, it wouldn't be right, but we're very close. I mean, this design phase, we have to have the content fully finished and in with the company by the end of next week. So that's when we'll have the final content for all the pages. And then after that, so on the next platform Treasury meeting in 2 weeks' time, one way or another, we're going to show you some of the designs, even if we have to blur out some of the content. But in essence, we've been working really hard. All the pages are pretty much designed, and the layouts are all done. Everybody's really happy with the work, and we're now just on the content side of it mainly, with only a few minor adjustments really to what we want. We've got two kind of color palettes that we're testing out with the homepage itself, just for visuals to see which kind of color palettes look better. But yeah, we're super close. This has been a long process, and the company we're working with are super detailed, and we've got multiple meetings, 2 meetings a week with them, and ongoing content back and forth. So everything's going really well. I was really hoping we'd be able to give the community a sneak peek on this particular meeting, but like I said, it's just the content is only placeholder content, and we wouldn't want to kind of give the wrong impression of what if the content's not right. So yeah, just bear with us. We're near, so it's 3 phases. We've obviously completed phase 1, which was the user journey and competitive analysis and all that kind of stuff. This phase now is the design phase of building all the wireframes out and getting all the stuff, the layout correct for all the pages. And we're coming to the end of this phase. And then the final phase is the build out phase, which will be starting pretty soon. So we're kind of, I would say we're we're sort of ahead of schedule anyway on that note. So yeah, I know everybody's dying to see what everything's going to look like. It's coming along really, really well, and I'm sure everyone's going to be super happy. Obviously, fully mobile friendly as well. So and all built properly, from scratch. So no templated rubbish. Full, solid, hardcore development. Proper stuff. So yeah, that's not much more to report on that. But yeah, at the end of next week, we have to have all the content in. So from there, we move on to the next phase. So yeah, not long now, we'll be able to show the community what we've been working on.
Amazing, thank you. And just to stress, these guys are absolute workhorses. They do not stop for anything. They are the most dedicated people I have ever met. So good things are coming.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of work, and it's so much is going on in the background, especially for this, not just this unified web project, but on this specific topic. Yeah, it's multiple meetings a week. It's back and forths. It's it's a huge, and they've got a team of about 7 or 8 people working on it. So you can imagine it's a lot. But yeah, it's coming along really nicely, and hopefully next meeting we'll be able to give a sneak peek.
Looking forward to it. Perfect. Well, we move straight on to the next one then, which is association rules for project and contracted short-term work, which is Derek.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is something that has kind of been in the works for a long while. This is really just simply a TIP that put together with in conjunction with many people, and feedback internally from the council, feedback from legal, just to make sure that this all makes sense. What it enables us to do, or the TAO to do, or the association to do, based on needs at specific times as we're kind of moving into an expansion phase in the project, enables kind of the spin up or the usage of contract work, whether that be from an external source, a council member that may have the expertise to handle something as deemed appropriate by the TAO or the association, and kind of making sure that this all falls within the proper governance framework as it stands. So this just kind of formalizes a process for the association to spin up work when work needs to be done, especially during maybe we have a project that comes up, or maybe there is a initiative that's going to take 2 or 3 weeks that needs to be accomplished, and there needs to be some more manpower that's outside of kind of the purview of council seats. This gives the ability for the TAO to kind of activate contract-based work on a short-term scale, rather than signing a large ongoing contract for support on initiatives that can range from many different things as defined by the governance process. This doesn't supersede anything or replace anything. This is simply kind of enhancing that process and adding a step to provide working hours and work manpower essentially behind things that need to get done when that's determined that they need to get done by either the TAO or the association. So it's meant to be. There is no effect to the budget. This is all things that would be voted on specifically, and the cost. It's just exactly the same as hiring an outside firm or anything else like that. It would or this is simply just a way to formalize that process. The expenses would still need to be voted on and fall within the scope of a project or a budget, like any expenses in the association. And this just really just helps give some latitude to really just working power. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, no, I think to be honest, it makes sense. You're setting the framework and everything in motion for something that is perfect when we need to get everything sorted and get it done, whether it's external or just extra manpower on there. We've got the ability to now. So yeah, it's a no-brainer from me. Perfect. So we'll move straight on to the next one then. Telcoin Explorer update. AJ, this one's you.
Yeah, so over the last couple weeks, I've just been doing some minor updates, some fixes, and getting some scaling stuff prepared. So I'm efforting right now on putting together a services agreement, and I'll be pushing that out. But it looks like we'll be able to do this for a lot less than what we're budgeting for, so we can utilize some of those fees for something else. And then I think what I'm working on currently is just spinning up an observer node within the environment. So it'll run clearly off of that, and I will be putting together some ideas for the association on what they may want to use for a dashboarding solution in the future. But we'll have access to the backend Postgres instances that will house the data. It's all going to be, redundant for mainnet, and yeah, so we're getting ready to roll.
Amazing. Thank you for the update. So I believe we are now on to the open Q&A. So we've had a few questions so far. So I'll put this out to the group, and then if anyone wants to hop in, please do help answer. So first one, there was talk of 5 to 6 validators last meeting. Just wondering how that's going.
That is continuing to go well. One of the things, and it's the top of our priority, is to fully onboard all of them. So we've managed to get 2 or 3 nodes on. We've had some hiccups with networking, in particular with our defense when it comes to peer management and identifying attack vectors. We had our settings were a little bit more sensitive. We've been going back and forth and working closely with those operators to just get them online first. And so, yeah, I think all in all, it's going well. We have a meeting scheduled throughout next week to bring several more nodes online. And yeah, I hope to have some more exciting news and numbers to share at the next meeting.
Perfect. Thank you. So the second one is the network launching in H1, so the first half of the year?
No, I don't. That is not likely to happen. No, that's not going to happen. So H1 was definitely a goal, but at this point, we are just methodically working through the security and the networking portion of this last step to get to mainnet. So ultimately, we are feature complete and feeling really good about the foundation of the network at this point and its stability. But there is still several issues and just wrinkles to iron out before we were ready to launch mainnet. Although it's disappointing to have the network delayed for H1, ultimately it would be way worse in my opinion to release a product that was not ready for production. So as tough as it is disappointing, I think it is ultimately it's going to pay off in the long run because yeah, the MNOs are not interested in having a failure for mainnet just to get there quicker. What they'd rather have, and what we've heard consistently across all participants and potential partners too, is they want to know when it's ready, when it is bulletproof, and when it is not only secure and stable, but it's ready for mainnet. So, and that is our goal, and that's what we're committed to doing, is delivering the mainnet that Telfam deserves and doing it right.
100%. Perfect. Thank you for that. And a third one is, have third-party audits began? No,
third-party audits have not begun. We are talking with Spearbit Cantina about scheduling the next round. Part of that really has come to one of the first audits that we were planning to move forward with has kind of been brought under further question, specifically with the complexity of our solution. And like all things in security, as this is a rapidly evolving, constantly changing space. And so, we've kind of given pause on the solution for validating BLS keys when the validators are staking. One area that we want to explore just more closely is the use of precompiles. However, that kind of adds complexity to managing the repo and just the where tests live, and it's a little bit of tech debt, but ultimately I think it's going to significantly reduce the attack surface and the complexity of our solution. So that is something that we're heavily under assessing. Other than that, the next wave of audits that we are identified and plan to move forward with is really just a matter of finding the right researcher and scheduling those, and ultimately to managing the budget effectively. So with that, I've mentioned like our two biggest areas of priority are in the network and the execution layer, as well as the smart contract layer. So I believe the smart contract layer, I'm like 99% sure personally that it is good to go. We just need to, at least the code is frozen. And so really we're just kind of working through these last hiccups on onboarding MNOs and the data center nodes. And that's going to free up the protocol team to then go at it full force with the security audits. So yeah, ultimately it's not our intention to delay the security audits, but with the token price moving too, I think it's going to work out okay in favor of everything. So
perfect. And then just to follow on, does the budget affect when third-party audits can be started?
Yes and no. I mean, it is definitely something that we consider, right? Like we have a budget, and it's our responsibility to maintain that and be care for that budget and responsibly use that budget, right? We don't have an empty blank checkbook to just go out and write audits for, yeah. So yes and no. No, in the sense that we have a security budget and it is sufficient to get the ball rolling. The biggest blocker right now has just been protocol team time and depth. So, and also making sure that we are not going into an audit that we're not prepared for. So that, ultimately, if we had 30 people on here, we could have a team of 10 looking at one area and be rock solid on that. I think sure we can move faster, but ultimately this is just our goal is to do it responsibly, and that's where we're at.
Perfect. And we've just had another one come in with, because we mentioned H1 there. How far past are we anticipating as a rough? I know we don't like to give rough time frames as much, but is there anything?
Yeah, so there's two major factors that are kind of out of our control. One is just coordinating, lining up, and timing with the correct security auditors, and depending on what those findings happen, what we get back from those results, and then addressing those findings. The second one is coordinating with the bridge partners. So Layer 0, met with them just earlier this week. Things are moving there. They have begun testing, deploying, and building on the stable testnet. They're not ready to fully integrate with us yet. And as I mentioned in my update, we're still working through a smooth process to fully onboard nodes to the network at scale. So, once those are done and the bridge is online, then that's a huge component for getting to mainnet. And then the third one is just having the MNOs in place and installed in the data centers as well. So right now we're working quickly towards just getting those nodes fully onboarded, and then we'll be able to focus and prioritize just the remaining security hurdles. But I do want to remind everyone that it's just because we don't have a third party's assessment doesn't mean that we're not improving the security aspects of it. We are definitely going through very deep scans and different angles and thinking through different attack surfaces. And unfortunately, that just takes time. Wake up a different day thinking of a different attack surface that I want to check out and make sure, okay, that's not a problem. Okay, that's good. That's thought of. That edge case is handled, etc. And we have meetings about that, and we think about that a lot. And we have a long list of just areas that we want to confirm and different attack surfaces that we've considered. And that list will never stop growing, but at some point we will definitely be in a position where we feel confident that there's nothing else that we could do as protocol engineer team, and that we are ready to bring on the experts, which does cost a lot of money and does affect our budget.
Perfect. No, that was an amazing answer. So thank you. So one we have is Storm still playing a role in the association?
Yeah, I can take that one. Appreciate the question. And so I'll start with that question and then just comment on the progress across the board that I've seen, as well as consensus. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, we're working closely with Storm on 4 different areas. So one of them is finance and ops. So basically ensuring across the entities that we filed legally all the paperwork that's necessary, as well as all of the tax and accounting work that goes into an enterprise like this. They've done a fantastic job there. We're working closely with Basil, and Leo's been all over that initiative. The second one is they're working in community management and comms. And so within that, they have Rep Rick Dolly, who's working closely with internal marketing committee in the association and comms, as well as communicating directly with across the Discord and whatnot. And so that one is I think going quite well. He's from the perspective having an impact. It's even broad-based and just sort of community management level things. We've seen generalist tasks being fulfilled through that as well. And then there's 2 more. So they're doing business development and sales across the entire set of stakeholders. And the last is program management for the strategic telecom advisor that we brought on board. And so those are relatively interwoven, except for the fact that the business development portions for the engagement are focused on like non-GSMA, non-MNO style stakeholders that we would need to bring in addition to those types of stakeholders, MNOs, and other parts of the telecom value chain. So that's been going really well. In the program management of the advisory position has been just stellar. So we've completely onboarded the advisor with all of the docs and working closely with the advisor to basically A to Z within our go-to-market for all the telecoms within the, as well as, well, I'll just say the objectives are basically to standardize the Telcoin network within the GSMA and the broader telecom industry, to drive mobile network operator validation of Telcoin network across the world of GSMA members, and to build the app store of the Internet of Money on the Telcoin application network by bringing telecom, mobile financial services, and other applications tokenized on chain all around the world. And in each of those, this is the person to work with every day that we go through this is better. Actually had the opportunity to meet with the advisor down in Miami and Consensus in advance of our kickoff call, and just couldn't be more enthused about this. Frankly, this person is someone that I've been trying, like, sort of, how am I going to bring them on into this fold for years? And everything and more is what we're getting out of it right now. From basically, I mean, so without knowing that the individual, and we're keeping it confidential for now for a variety of reasons in the first part of the engagement, but they're just the most plugged into the telecom industry for blockchain that you could be. Everyone's on a first name basis across these MNOs. And so it's tremendously helpful for the existing commercial team, both in terms of what are the best documents to get over the line at an MNO from a legal perspective. How do you do that properly so that it's not going to take, these are massive organizations around the world with, in some or maybe all cases, a lot of bureaucracy and legal compliance with monopolies on the existing networks that form the internet. And so to bring a new one in, it's a great perspective to have, because this person is both the on, as well as the person that's responsible for making the decisions at one of the largest telecoms in the world, and all of basically his peers across the industry, first name, easy call basis. And so we're really across the board. I'm feeling wonderful about the Storm engagement. There's a bit of work on my end, after we collected every single possible onboarding document for the advisor to really give them a full color on everything. There's another sort of stakeholder map that I'm developing for the Storm BD areas that include more of the segments that we're looking at, DeFi protocols, tokenization, firms that are bringing real world assets on chain and the like. So yeah, that part everything's going well. We learned a lot from the first portion of the engagement, and I think we're pointed with this group in the right direction. And then, so just to piggyback on that, Consensus in Miami was just a massive event, both in terms of there being so many people, and also in terms of everyone who is there actually works in the industry for a living. And so you're sitting there getting deals done and next steps in the most fluid way possible. I think everyone has respect for what we're building because they recognize the two problems that we're focused on the Telcoin side, the company, that banking this industry is so critical. Everyone I talk to there is like, yeah, we're trying how we can pay our employees still. It's 2026, and they're still having issues with that. And so we can do so much more. And then on the distribution side, there's just a tremendous opportunity to bring everyone onto Telcoin network, and they kind of see now the practical necessity to align existing institutions that are actual network service providers around a unified ledger so that we can bring this to the masses. If you have thousands of chains that are all sort of better, faster, cheaper, but don't actually get to the last mile of payments, then you just have a sort of a siloed system that can't reach true scale. And so everything has been really great from that perspective. Had a ton of meetings and follow-ups, and those are still ongoing, as anyone who's hit the conference circuit knows. And so that's my Consensus update. Yeah, and big shout out to King Solomon, Ryan Solomon from Genfinity for putting me on this podcast. Ran into him, and we were able to get something together last minute, and I think it got the message out, which is something that we're just going to continue to do because the substance is there. The message just needs to get out to the world, and I think that if you look at it from the zoomed out perspective on the timeline of the network and the bank and everything going live this year, it's like, okay, well, this is the time to do that. And so I just feel overall really pleased with our positioning relative to the market objectively as a network, and now with being empowered by our advisor and working closely with Storm, think that everything's coming full circle. The last things I want to comment on, just to applaud the Block Explorer crew, Ari and Nick, for stepping up in an area that's so critical to the network working. Also wanted on the shared services agreement template that Derek brought to the table. We've been working on this for a few weeks. It's really critical from the outset of building the institution that we call the association and network, is to actively separate two important things, which are planning and financing things and allocating TEL issuance, and the actual implementation of the things that need to be done. These have to be separated for a variety of reasons. The duties of a council member are to make decisions and to propose policy and to integrate the community's feedback into those processes. It's not to go out and build X, Y, and Z things. Now, there's a natural evolution wherein folks who are on the councils are both passionate about everything that we're doing and also skilled at it, and they should no point go above and beyond without being compensated proportionately to their labor. And so this makes that separation between the provisioning of the platform's resources and the production of those into a meaningful, intuitive, and really sort of easy way to empower community members, council members, where we're seeing this natural evolution happen, and beyond, with an easy way to become a productive member without working for no pay, right? No one wants that. So anyways, just wanted to applaud everyone for the work that they're doing. The blockchain engineers as well are just killing it. And it's been really a great year for us. And despite the crazy market conditions we're seeing now, I think that in a year from now, we'll be really stoked about all the progress that we've made collectively. Thanks, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Parker. Guys, if that doesn't get you excited, then nothing will. There is so much going on right now. And yeah, it's just going to get better and better. So I'm just seeing if we've got any other questions quickly. And if not, we will wrap up. No, everything's I'm seeing in the stream, people are calling out Grant being absolutely amazing, being completely on the ball. Again, same for Parker. There is just a lot of praise for all the guys here. So well done, team. It's truly appreciated.
Thank you.
So I will move on then. So the next meetings, we are on June the 4th, June 18th, and July 2nd. 2026, we know, is the year of Telcoin. Mainnet is coming. MNO validators are setting up and actively testing. And the Telecom blockchain standard is becoming a reality. So we will see you in 2 weeks. And yeah, thank you so much. Hope you have an amazing time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, everybody.
One.